All right, everyone, welcome back. Today we're tackling something I think we can all relate to. The ick. You know, those sudden turnoffs that can totally kill the vibe?
Ugh, don't even get me started.
Right. So, to guide our deep dive today,
Hmm?
we're using a recent list of top 10 icks for women. And get this, it's about way more than just, like, judging someone's taste in music.
It's true, and I think what's so fascinating about the ick is it often acts like a subconscious alarm bell, right? It can alert us to these deeper incompatibilities, the kind that maybe wouldn't be so obvious at first.
You know what? I'm already seeing that just from number one on the list. Poor hygiene. I mean, come on. Is there anything more of an instant ick than that?
It's almost like a primal thing, you know? I mean, think about it from an evolutionary standpoint. We're hardwired to look for partners who seem healthy, and, well, good hygiene is a pretty basic signal for that.
Makes sense.
Yeah, back in the day, bad hygiene could literally mean illness.
Yeah.
Even parasites, yuck. So it's kind of understandable why we'd be, like, instinctively turned off by it.
And let's be real, on a purely practical level, who wants to get close to someone who hasn't showered in a week?
Okay, bad example, but I see your point. It's funny, I actually knew this girl who went on a date with this guy. And get this, he showed up in a shirt with, like, visible stains all over it. I mean, like, food stains from who knows when. It was rough.
Instant ick. Okay, let's move beyond the obvious stuff, though.
Yeah.
Being overly arrogant or cocky.
Mm.
I mean, I think we've all met that guy, right?
Yeah, the one who's always bragging.
Yes, like constantly talking about themselves, name-dropping, like...
Yeah, like they're trying too hard, you know?
Totally. And it's like, who finds that attractive?
Right. It's actually a sign of insecurity, I think. Like, if you're truly confident, you don't need to brag all the time.
That's a really good point. It's like they're trying to overcompensate for something.
Exactly.
This list also mentions talking badly about their ex. What do you think about that one?
That's an interesting one. I mean, I get it. Sometimes you need to vent after a breakup. But if someone is constantly trash-talking their ex, it's like a red flag to me.
Yeah, it's like, have they moved on yet?
Exactly. It makes you wonder if they can take responsibility for their own part in the relationship, too.
Oh, that's a good point. Like, are they always going to be the victim?
Right.
Overly clingy or needy behavior. Ugh. I think we've all encountered this one too, right?
Yeah, like that person who's always texting, always wanting to be together.
Yes. And it's like everyone needs their space, you know?
Totally. Like, I love spending time with my partner, but I also need time for myself, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like if someone is super clingy, it can make you feel suffocated,
Yes. It's like they don't have their own life, their own interests.
right? And it can make you question their confidence too.
Exactly. It's like they need constant reassurance.
Yeah, that can be pretty draining.
For sure.
Okay.
Okay, what's next on the list?
Being rude or disrespectful to others.
Oh, yeah, that's a deal breaker for me, too.
It's an instant ick. I don't care how attractive someone is, if they're rude to a waiter or like talking down to people.
I know. It's like how you treat other people says a lot about you.
Exactly. It shows your
Yeah.
character, you know?
Right. If you're disrespectful to people, especially people in service positions, it just shows a lack of empathy.
And a lack of respect.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. This one is a little more superficial maybe,
Yeah.
but having a weird laugh.
Laughs?
I love this one.
Right. Like, I don't know why, but sometimes a laugh can just be like a total turnoff.
Oh yeah, like a really loud snort or something.
Yes. Or like a really high-pitched giggle.
Oh, it can be so jarring. It's like nails on a chalkboard.
Totally. It just, like, throws you off.
Sure.
Okay.
Apparently both trying too hard to impress and lack of ambition are icks.
Oh, I know what you mean.
So like, where's the happy medium?
Hmm?
How do you show someone you're interested without seeming, I don't know, desperate or are completely unmotivated?
I think it boils down to authenticity, right? Like, genuine passion and drive, those are magnetic qualities. Having interests, you know, goals, a sense of purpose, that's attractive.
For sure.
But when it feels like someone's forcing it, trying too hard, it can be really off-putting. It just feels insincere. Like, they're more focused on performing than just being themselves.
Oh, yeah. It's like that guy who name drops every celebrity he supposedly met.
Yeah.
Or constantly brags about like his amazing stock portfolio that might not even exist.
Totally. You see right through it. So cringe. Okay, let's shift gears to something that can be a big deal breaker for a lot of people. Money. The list mentions being cheap as a huge ick. But I wonder, is it actually about the amount of money, or is there something more to it?
That's a good point. I mean, money often symbolizes deeper values, right? Like security, generosity, and even how someone thinks about the future. So if someone's super frugal, even when they can afford to be more, I don't know, generous. It might be a sign they're just hesitant to like invest in experiences or share what they have, which I guess could carry over into other parts of a relationship.
Yeah, it's like, are they just really careful with their finances, or are they unwilling to, contribute to building a life together, even in small ways?
Okay, last but not least, we've got a classic ick: bad table manners. Why do you think something like chewing with your mouth open is sussy H a universal turnoff?
I think it comes down to social awareness and consideration for others, right?
Right.
Like good table manners show that you're present, you're mindful, and you're respectful of the people you're sharing a meal with.
So true.
And, chewing loudly or talking with your mouth full, it just shows a lack of awareness, like you're not fully engaged in the experience. And that can be a big turnoff for people.
Okay, so stepping back and looking at everything we've talked about, it's clear the ick is more than just like a fleeting feeling.
Definitely not.
It can reveal deeper values, compatibility cues, even how someone approaches relationships in general.
It's like our intuition giving us a little nudge saying, hey, pay attention here. This might be something important.
What I find so interesting is that everyone's icks are different. What completely grosses one person out might be totally fine for someone else. It's like we all have our own personal set of guidelines for what we find acceptable or unacceptable in a partner.
Absolutely. And I think it's about like understanding your own human values and what you truly want in a relationship. I mean, in a way, the ick can actually be a really useful tool for self-reflection.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, to kind of figure out what matters most to you.
That is such a good point. So to all our listeners out there, I challenge you to think about your own icks. What are those instant turnoffs for you? And more importantly, what do they reveal about your priorities and maybe even your relationship deal breakers? Food for thought, right? Well, this has been a super interesting deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure.